alaikum dear viewers, and welcome to our Learn Arabic show. So in our previous session we discussed about adjectives. We discussed about how to convert adjectives from masculine to feminine. Then we looked at words from the Quran like Allahu, Baqaratun, okay, and we discussed about how to formulate sentences, very simple sentences using these words, mu'annath for feminine and mudhakkar for masculine. Then we moved on to the interrogation. For masculine, different for feminine. Ahadha for masculine and ahadihi for feminine. Now today we're going to look at a different aspect of grammar. So for our today's topic, we'll be learning two things today. The first thing we'll be learning today is about collectives. Right. So just like in English we have collectives. For example, in English we have like a pride of lion. So that's like a collective, right? Like you group them, like more than one lion, you group them together. In Arabic we also have collectives, but it takes a different format. It's not the same. So in Arabic there are some words, okay, which are singular. They appear to be singular, but they represent collectives. They represent a group. So some singular words denote collectives. That is a group or more than one, many. So there are very rare cases where you will see such words. So I'll just be giving you two examples. One word, example one, we can have. So the first example we can have is hajarun, okay? Right. Now hajarun means rock, right? Of course we don't say rocks in plural, we say rock. So rock is a plural form. This is the plural when you talk of collectives, right? Now as you see the word hajarun here, it looks like any singular word in Arabic. Give me an example of other singular words in Arabic. We have, for example, kitabun, okay? Kitabun. Kitabun means book, right? Now you notice here, kitabun is a singular word, right? It is a singular word, but it only denotes one book, just a book, right? It will just be a book, right? But however, hajarun here, it denotes rock. Rock is actually the plural. For singular, you say a piece of rock. This rock here is just, it's a plural form, okay? So hajarun appears to be a singular word like any other word in Arabic. Kitabun, a book. Babun, a door. Okay, baytun, a house. But when you look at hajarun, it also appears to be singular, just like any other word, like kitabun, babun, darun, baytun, qalamun, you name any other word, right? But it denotes collectives, it denotes many, it denotes plural, right? Now, if I want to convert this plural word rock, I want to convert it into singular. So if I want to convert this from plural, I'm going to singular. So what will I do? This word rock is in plural and I want to convert it into singular, a piece of rock. I just want one, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a feminine word. And you know what the feminine is, right? At the end of the word, I'll add a ta marbuta at the end of the word to make it feminine. So rock, that is plural, becomes singular, which will be hajaratun. So I will add a ta marbuta. So in singular, it will become hajaratun. and which means a piece of rock. A piece of rock, or you can say a stone. Right, and this will mean rock or stones, which is plural. So I have basically just converted this word here, which appears to be singular but it actually denotes plural, into singular by adding a ta marbuta at the end of the word. So if I add this ta marbuta, which is the feminine, at the end of the word, it becomes singular. So it becomes a piece of rock, right? Now I'm going to give you another example. So this was our first example. Now our second example, example 2. Right, our second example will be zaytunun. All right, you know olives, right? Zaytunun. Now here zaytunun, it also appears to be it appears to be a singular word. In fact, it is a singular word. Zaytunun here is a singular word, right? But it represents plural, right? So I will not say this means olive, I will say it means olives. So zaytunun means olives, right? So this is a singular word, however it represents plural, that is olives. But what if again I want to convert this word, which is plural, which represents plural, I want to convert it into singular. So what am I going to do? The same way I did with the first example, I'm going to add a feminine. And what's that feminine? Yes, the feminine is ta marbuta. So I'm going to convert this plural into singular. So how will I do it? Just add a ta marbuta at the end of the word. So it's going to be zaytunatun. Zaytunatun, right? So zaytunatun means an olive. And this means olive. So this is plural and this is singular, right? So this was about collectives. So in collectives, you will note that in Arabic, there are some words which are singular, however, they represent a group, many. They represent collective, something that's in collection, right? So the first example we looked at was hajarun. And I said hajarun, just like any other word, is a singular word, right? For example, babun, darsun, kitabun, qalamun. We have hajarun also, but hajarun represents collection. Hajarun is plural, which means rock or stones, right? And then we moved on to converting this plural into what you call singular, right? So we said, how do you convert these kind of collective words? How do you convert them into plural? We said you convert them by adding a ta marbuta, that is the feminine denotion, at the end of the word. So hajarun becomes hajaratun, zaytunun becomes zaytunatun. So this is olives and that is one olive, zaytunatun. And something to note, that the plural format of these words only happen in things like collectives. Okay? Other types of plurals that will normally occur, we're going to do that in our further classes. But for just to note, these kind of plurals only occur in collectives. If there are other special cases or other types of regular plurals, which we'll be learning in the further classes. But for now, just know that only collectives will take this format of plural by adding a ta marbuta at the end of the sentence or word to make it singular. Right, now we will move on to the next topic for today. And our next topic for today will be duals. Right, you know what duals are? Right, dual, anything in pair, two. Dual means two. right? Duals, anything in pair. And what do we call it in Arabic? We say muthanna. We say muthanna. Duals is muthanna. So we'll be looking at how to convert the singular words into duals. Dual means two, anything in pairs. Okay? So now we have singular and we have plural, and I'll group the words. Okay? So we have singular means mufradun. Okay? So we have mufradun. Mufradun. Mufradun means singular. Then we have plural, dual, which means muthanna. Right. So give me any singular word. For example, I want to say the word kitabun, right? So kitabun. Kitabun, right? So if I want to convert this singular word here into a dual, I want to convert it into pair, right? So what I'm going to do is only for the masculine words, okay? We are just looking at for masculine only, for masculine words. You know the masculine, the mudhakkar, those without ta marbuta. It doesn't have a ta marbuta at the end of the word, right? So we are just going to be looking at duals for masculine because, like I said earlier, in Arabic, there is a lot of specifications. You have different, for masculine, everything is different for feminine. So first we'll focus on duals only for the masculine. So for masculine words, for mudhakkar, if I want to convert the mufradun into muthanna, I will add alif and noon. So it will be an addition of alif and noon. Noon kasra. So here alif and noon kasra. That's what I'm going to add. So this is the addition. So I'm going to add alif and noon kasra to this word here to make it from singular to dual, right? So my word is going to be what? It's going to be kita, and then ba, I will add to ba alif and noon. So it will be kitabani. You see here? So here is what we have, the addition, right? We have the alif and the noon is being added to this word. And you notice we had discussed in the previous sessions that why do we join this word here? Why don't we join the alif to the noon? Because alif is a munfasila letter. It is a separate letter. Therefore, it will only join to the previous letter. It will not join to the preceding letter, which is noon. Right, let's look at another example. For example, the word qalamun, okay? So I have qalamun. Right, so qalamun will change and it will become qalamani. Same additions. See here, it's the same additions of alif and noon kasra. So it will become qalamun, will become qalamani. So qalamun is one pen. Qalamani are two pens, right? So if I want to say one pen, qalamun. If I want to say two pens, qalamani, right? Then we go to the next word. Let's say baytun. Okay, baytun, darsun, for example. So what does darsun mean? Darsun means class, right? I had said this in the previous session, darsun. So if I want to convert it, again I will add an alif and I will add a noon kasra. So it will become darsani. Again, the same addition. Right? So this is how the words are going to convert. If they're the masculine words, that's how they're going to convert into the dual format. Let's look at another example. For example, I want to say pencil, right? And I want to convert that into 2 pencils. So I will say mirsamun. I'll say mirsamun, that is a pencil, just 1 pencil, right? So that's mirsamun. And I'm going to convert it into 2 pencils, which will be mirsaman, mirsamani. So it's the same addition that's happening. And just note that these are only for masculine words, those without the ta marbuta at the end of the words, right? So this is the way how we are going to convert mufradun into muthanna. We said by adding an addition of alif and noon. And we said this only happens in masculine. But what about feminine? We also said that feminine is different, right? It's always supposed to be different, right? So we're going to look at how to convert feminine words into duals. So we have done singular for male dual. And of course for female the additions will also be different. Right. So for feminine, so we'll be looking at duals but for feminine. Duals for feminine. Right. So in duals for feminine, so for example, yesterday we looked at even words from the Quran like Baqaratun, we looked at Tawbatun, okay? And we also looked at things you see in the class, Al-Ashya'u Taramuna fi Saf, right? So let's look at Saburatun, okay? Saburatun. Right. Now saburatun here is a feminine word. Why is it a feminine word? Because it has a ta marbuta here. And what does ta marbuta denote? Feminine. So this word here is saburatun is feminine. Why? Because it has a ta marbuta. Therefore, even the dual will be converted into the feminine format. So if I want to convert 1 blackboard into 2 blackboards, so how am I going to convert it? I will add an addition of ta alif, see an open ta alif and a noon kasra. Okay, it's ta joined to an alif with a noon kasra there. Okay, so saburatun. Okay, now what happens here is this ta marbuta will be converted. Okay, are you listening? This ta marbuta here will be converted into open ta. Okay, so you will no longer see this ta marbuta. Why? Because it's going to be converted into open ta. So I will have sabura, saburatani, I will have saburatani. So this ta marbuta here, you see this ta marbuta here, it has been converted into ta, open ta, right? So I will have an addition of ta alif noon sakin. So saburatun becomes saburatani, 1 blackboard, 2 blackboards. Let's look at another example. Duster, for example. nashafatun, right? So I have the word nashafatun, right? So this word here, nashafatun, just one duster, right? Now I want two dusters. So how will I write two dusters? Nashafatun will become, yes, nashafatun will become nashafatani, right? Nashafatani. Right, so what have I done here? Yes, I have added a ta, alif and noon, right? So it's going to be the same addition. So basically this ta here, it comes from this ta marbuta, right? So what we always do here, if it's a feminine, the ta marbuta in singular will be converted. Always remember, the ta marbuta in singular will be converted into an open ta. That is always going to be the case. So the ta marbuta here again, which denotes feminine, it's going to be converted into an open ta. And just like masculine, after adding an open ta, I will add an alif and I will add a noon. So nashafatun becomes nashafatani. Give me another example. What if I want to say sister? Okay, ukhtun, right? So I have the word ukhtun. Ukhtun means sister. Right. Now here, ukhtun is a feminine word. We said that not all feminines end with a ta marbuta. There are some feminines which do not end with a ta marbuta. And we said examples of such feminines are like relationships like ummun and ukhtun. And ukhtun here is with an open ta. So how will I change this? Of course it will be the same way. It's just going to be the same way. Only the difference, since there is no ta marbuta, I will not have to convert anything. It will remain the same. So ukhtun becomes ukhtani. Okay? So one sister, two sisters. Ukhtun becomes ukhtani. It's going to take the same format. Right. Of course, I haven't added here the ta. It's just the alif I have added. Right. It's just the alif, of course, because this is an open ta. The ta is already there, right? So I don't have to convert anything over here in this word, right? So this is how we convert feminine words, okay? From singular, from mufradun to muthanna. So we said saburatun becomes saburatani, nashafatun becomes nashafatani, ukhtun becomes ukhtani, and that is how we are going to be converting the words from mufradun to muthanna. Right, so just a summary of what we did learn today. So today we learned about two things, right? We learned about collectives and we learned about duals. Right, so what did we say about collectives? Just the summary of what we did today. What did we say about collectives? Yes, we said that many singular words appear, they are singular, but they denote collectives, all right? So singular words denote what? Group, many. And we said how to convert these words from singular to plural by adding a ta marbuta. So for example, if I have the plural word, if I have hajarun, how am I going to convert it into singular? It's going to be hajaratun. So what have I done here? I have made an addition of Ta marbuta. So this is what I have done. So from plural to singular. Another example I gave you was zaytunun. So what did I say about zaytunun? I said this is a singular word. It denotes plural, which means olives, right? If I want to convert it into singular again, ta marbuta, which is going to become zaytunatun. Right. So zaytunun becomes zaytunatun, right? Then we went to duals. What did we say about duals? Duals means two, anything in pair. Right. So if I want to change a feminine word into dual, what am I going to do? From mufradun to muthanna, I'm going to add a ta alif. So for feminine, if the word is ending with ta marbuta, so the ta marbuta, first of all, I'll convert it into open ta. And then what am I going to do? I'm going to add alif and noon kasra. So it becomes like this. For feminine ending with ta marbuta. But what about words like ukhtun with an open ta? It will remain the same. So if it's a feminine word ending with an open ta, it remains the same, open ta, and then again it's all the same, tani. So this was for feminine. What about masculine? So for masculine, we just said add alif and noon. So it's an addition of alif and noon kasra. So kitabun becomes kitabani. Kitabani, two books. So this is a book and this is two books, right? So that sums up our session for today. We discussed about collectives and we moved on to duals for both feminine and masculine. Inshallah, we'll continue our session tomorrow, same time, same channel. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.